Many people have these estate plans that are far more elaborate than is necessary. All right, I meet a lot of people who have either had their estate plan for them or somebody's died and now they come to me asking me to probate the estate, and I look at the will and I look at the other documents, and the the documents are just so over the top. All right, the person who passed away or the person who's planning their estate has a simple estate, maybe $250,000 in assets to $500,000. They have a house, a car, some savings, and some lawyer has gotten a hold of these people and set up an estate plan that would be suitable for a multimillionaire. Right? These sorts of estate plans, these over-the-top estate plans, are bad in most cases for a couple of reasons. First of all, whoever has the estate plan done, in many cases, is paying 2 to 3 times more than he should have an estate plan for him. Right? And worse than that, not only is the person overpaying, but they're paying for these needless documents that are going to make the probate process much more complicated and convoluted and expensive. Right? When you go before the probate court and you have a will that's 3 pages long and everything's cut and dry, it's usually going to just breeze right through the process. However, if you have a will that's 15 to 20 pages long and it sets up trusts and has all these unnecessary terms and clauses, that's going to take more time to probate, and there's going to be far more things that can go wrong. Okay, so generally, the overly elaborate estate plan is not worth it, and it's more expensive, both having it drafted and probating it. So the lawyers who are most likely to set up these sorts of estate plans are lawyers who market themselves as being exclusively estate planning attorneys, right, being experts in this field. And I think that they set up these estate plans really for two reasons. First of all, like I said, they could justify a bigger bill when their client chooses them to set up the documents. Okay, it would be hard to sell your client on a will that's 3 pages long and then charge them $1,500 for it. It's just not going to happen. But if you present him with 30 to 50 pages worth of meaningless documents, you tell him it's all very important, then he's more likely to pay the big bill. Secondly, in many cases, these estate plans require the family of the person who set up the plan, of the decedent, they require the family to go back to the lawyer in order to probate the estate. Okay, so the lawyer gets paid on the front end, and then when the person passes away, the way the documents are set up, the family has to come back to the lawyer and pay the lawyer to probate the estate. All right. So just to give you some ways of spotting whether or not your estate plan is overly elaborate or unnecessary. First of all, you have a common life scenario, but the documents are uncommon. So you have, say, a spouse and a couple of kids with that spouse, an average job, average house, a car, just a modest amount of savings. You don't need a will that's 15 pages long to 20 pages long. You need a very simple estate plan. So that's one warning. Second, if you have these documents and you don't understand them when you read them, right? Either because it's full of jargon, legalese, or it's just so verbose, it goes on for so long, they just can't even read the whole thing. That's also a warning. Right? And then lastly, another thing that you should be leery of are trusts. So a lot of lawyers, no matter how modest a person's estate is, they'll set up a trust. And usually you don't need a trust, but lawyers will just set them up anyway, like I said, to justify billing more and to require the client to come back to the lawyer when the decedent passes away. So if you don't have any sort of unusual situation, okay, you're not a multimillionaire, you don't have a kid with special needs, um, you don't have an international business or anything like that, then you can usually get away, and you should try to have a more conservative estate plan. Right? If not, if the lawyer's selling you on all sorts of crazy documents, then listen to him. If it makes sense why he's telling you to do it, then go along with it. But if not, then shop around and talk to other lawyers. It's always best to speak to multiple lawyers before you select one and pay them for their services.